Welcome back, sports fans, to the Legends Never Die podcast. We're back for another episode. We had a good week 2 of NFL season. We're 1 week away from baseball being through with, about 2 weeks till the playoffs. So we'll see things start to wrap up there, and we're jumping into week 4 already in college football. So it's going to be a good week. We had a good week last week, and we'll start off with our bold takes. We got Matt in today, Caleb, Dustin, and we have Laren in with us. He'll be here from time to time. He knows his stuff. So I'll start off with my bold take of the week was my Tigers. LSU, man. Game-winning field goal as time expired in Auburn. Good upset. Jumped up in the rankings to number 7, I believe. Right? 7? Yep. 6? Even better. Even better. I'll take it. Soon it'll be top 4 until we play Alabama probably, but that's a different story. LSU, you did good. You did good enough. You didn't do good, but you did good enough. The refs may have helped you a hair, but it was a good game.
My bold take is on the Buccaneers beating the defending NFL champs and the Super Bowl MVP. It's time to take Fitzpatrick serious. I think it's going to be that 1 year out of the 3 where he decides to come play, and he's just going to ball out on everybody.
My bold takeaway from the weekend was Alabama. How the hell do you score so many points? How? Someone please tell me how you score 56 points in the first half. Please. Anybody? Anybody?
You have Rocket Man, lefty quarterback that somehow is running 90 miles an hour, stops on a dime, squares his shoulders up, and throws a laser beam every single pass. That's how you score that many points against a fellow SEC school. And that's why I'm a little bit afraid as an LSU fan that Alabama might be our only loss. I think we're going to take care of Georgia in the next couple weeks.
We don't need to sleep on Mississippi State.
I'd take Fitzgerald down in a heartbeat. They're not going to have enough for us. Colin, the running back there, he don't stand a chance.
All right, my bold take, I'm going to go with Georgia. Jake Fromm, I feel like he's a really good quarterback. Threw for 3 touchdowns this week. Even though they were playing a Middle Tennessee who's really not that good, I still see them being a team to beat. I mean, they're ranked number 3 overall. They got a really good defense. They got LSU coming up in a couple weeks. That's going to be a really good game. But I think they're the real deal. I think they deserve to be in the top 4, no doubt, and I think they'll be in the playoffs.
They jumped to number 2, you seen, over Clemson this week finally.
One more takeaway I got, I think that's going a little underlooked, is Josh Donaldson getting traded to the Indians. He's adding depth to that lineup, power to that lineup, and makes me just think just a little more that the Indians are going to win the World Series.
Who's worried about Josh Donaldson when you just had Josh Gordon get traded, a pending trade, to the Patriots? Why are we not talking about that? Why are we not talking about another tie this week in the league? NFL, figure it out. We can't have ties. This is going to screw up the playoff picture, and it screws up bets. Had Minnesota by 1. Kicker misses a game-winning field goal twice. So they let me down, but the worst kicker of the week, definitely Gonzalez out of Cleveland. Man, thank you. As a Saints fan, that was the ugliest win. I went to the store, started to check out with my brown paper sacks, and then he missed that field goal, and I turned it back in. I told him, give it to a Cleveland fan.
They already had a big stock of them.
All right, so that's our bold takes of the weekend. We had a few other big highlights. We got Le'Veon Bell still being a bitch, and we got Antonio Brown. Don't know what his situation is now, but they need to figure something out there. Something in Pittsburgh isn't flying. I don't know what the deal is, but they better all figure it out or they're going to suck. They're already the 3rd best team in that division, so they better get it together.
4th?
You think they're the worst team in the division?
Oh, yeah.
Let me stop this nonsense right now, please. Even though I'm a Steelers fan, that's dumb. Come on now. Baltimore Ravens are ass. Didn't mean to say ass. They're awful.
That's cool. Cuss words like that, I'm sure our viewers can handle. But
right, but Baltimore Ravens,
try to keep it to
I
a
mean,
minimum.
Bengals, they did their thing against Baltimore. Can somebody in this room name one corner from the Baltimore Ravens?
Jimmy Smith's coming back off suspension. Get ready. Lockdown.
Brandon Carr plays for the Ravens.
He's not a cornerback.
What about Weddle in the secondary?
Brandon Carr.
What about what happened to Brandon Carr just a few years ago?
He ain't been relevant since college.
He was relevant on Odell's posters for all his fanboys.
All right, so we'll start by reviewing week 2 in college. In NFL first. So we'll start off with our Thursday night game, Bengals and Ravens. A.J. Green, you never fail to amaze me. 3 touchdowns in the first half. I literally watched you rip the man's head and the ball out of his hands straight off. He could have ripped that guy's head clean off his shoulders, I think, if he wanted to. But housing that and then a couple of the other routes you ran, good game. Unfortunately, Mixon went down. He's going to be out a couple weeks, so y'all better go pick up a waiver wire. Couple good running backs to pick up. Breida, if he's still available for San Fran. Y'all got anybody else y'all think? Giovanni Bernard, of course, his backup.
If Kenny Galladay's not owned in your league, go get Kenny Galladay.
Dear Harbaugh, give Alex Collins the football, please.
He can't stay healthy.
Alex Collins, he is healthy.
Just run the
If
football.
I see Buck Allen on the field one more time catching a half a yard pass just to get 3 yards, I'm turning off my TV.
Buck Allen is seen in the red zone this year. 30-something snaps to Alex Collins is 12. So clearly, Buck Allen is the red zone running back to go to. Alex Collins, he's a great athlete, but Buck Allen just finds a way to get in the end zone.
It's because they throw him the ball every play because
Hard-
Flacco don't throw it anywhere down the field unless Crabtree's running a 10-yard crosser.
That was going to lead me to my takeaway for that game. My takeaway was definitely Baltimore has got to run the football. You're struggling to see which quarterback you want to start. You're trying to get a rookie on the field, but yet you're not running the football. You're not going to win big football games and spotlight games if you don't run the football and your quarterback is Joe Flacco. End of the story, Baltimore.
And these gimmick plays with Lamar Jackson where you try to confuse the defense, but you just end up losing 5 yards or almost fumbling a ball because you're trying to do a quarterback/wide receiver reverse. I don't even know what to call him at this moment because I haven't seen him throw a single pass.
That's why they're waiting for that one big pass where they do get in that wildcat formation. That boy Lamar Jackson throws a rocket to win a game.
Yeah, I saw.
Because they've ran 10 times. That 11th time they're gonna finally throw that sucker.
Right, I watched him. You're right. I watched him on the sidelines. He was clowning with a couple of teammates. It looked like I don't know what he was saying, but it looked like he was like, "Look, bro, put me in, give me my shot." Like Flacco's out here making a bum out of himself. Getting sacked so many times.
You would have got a shot if you didn't absolutely play terrible in the preseason. You were having to play with the third stringers because RG3 was better than you.
All right, let's not forget Flacco won a Super Bowl. So y'all give the man a break.
Defense.
Ray Lewis won a Super Bowl or Joe Flacco?
Ray
won a Super
Lewis,
Bowl?
absolutely Ray Lewis.
You got anything on that game, Laren?
My
Not much.
takeaway.
It was a boring game. It was a high-scoring game. I wasn't expecting that at all. I was thinking the over/under was very low. I think it was like 42.
Oh yeah, it went.
It was very
went
low.
over. My takeaway from that game is Andy Dalton and Tyler Boyd. Andy Dalton I said this at the beginning of the year. I said he would be a top 8 quarterback in the NFL just because of all the weapons he has. You have Mixon. You could bring in Bernard as a third-round running back. He has 3 tight ends that he's done hit up. Tyler Eifert's not even the number 1. Clearly, he's threw it to. I don't even know this dude's last name. There was 2 other tight ends that received the ball before Eifert, and Boyd looks legit. I like LeBoyd as a number 2 receiver behind A.J. Green taking over Ross. Ross is a deep threat. He slept on, but he dropped 2 balls wide open into his hands. He dropped 2 balls.
His speed is useless.
He
can't catch.
if he can't catch, right? Exactly.
Exactly.
So Tyler Boyd's taking over, and I like Andy Dalton. I like him. That's my takeaway is Andy Dalton and Tyler.
Oh yeah, man, Andy Dalton, man, he produced real well. I didn't expect that, especially with the Ravens defense. But hell, when you got A.J. Green balling out like that, what else you expect? You know.
So
Quick thing on the Baltimore Ravens, I just got an ESPN alert that said they got fined $200,000 for multiple players having a headset.
What's the limit now on that? 5 players per team?
I don't know what it is, but multiple players on the field
Yeah.
at the same time had an earpiece in.
Honestly,
Wiring plays.
I didn't even know more than one player could have it. I thought only damn quarterback had it.
Yeah, quarterback and then your linebacker play
like-
caller. All right, so that game was boring. We weren't too right on that pick. I think most of us took Ravens. we wasn't expecting that. But Bengals, they're not going to be as good in the coming weeks without Mixon. That's a fact. Their run game's going to weaken a little.
Right. I agree.
And I think they have a tough schedule coming up. So we'll move into our second game. I don't have much to say on this. The Saints and Browns. Saints, you let me down. I'm not even considering that a win. As a Saints fan, I just consider it not a loss. But y'all just got to figure it out. But I'll give credit to Cleveland's defense. Y'all are a lot better than expected.
They're legit.
And y'all are getting well built for the future,
Yeah,
really. A lot of young
They're making
core.
plays when they need to. Yeah, young players coming in when they need to.
Just saying, Cleveland should be undefeated if it wasn't for Zane Gonzalez. Is that his name? Yeah. Thank you, Zane. We appreciate it down here in Louisiana.
My takeaway from the Browns game is first off, Tyrod Taylor. Way to drop a dime when the game's on the line. That was one of the prettiest passes I've seen in a long time. The rookie receiver Callaway from Florida, way to show up. Way to show up. Play in despite of Josh Gordon's situation, you show up every day and play. I'm glad that you're not a drug addict anymore. Really, the Saints are not running the football. Mark Ingram's been working out at FAU with Lane Kiffin and the team. But other than that, Michael Thomas, you're a beast.
Yeah, I like to touch on that. What D. Fruge was saying. Kamara is that running back that you bring in when you need a play to be made. He's not an every down running back compared to like Mark Ingram, he's built like that. He's built for an every down back. I'm not saying Kamara's bad. It's just Kamara sees more receptions and that's where he thrives. You bring in him for a change of pace. That's a good 1-2 punch right there. I mean, when they get Mark Ingram back, I think you'll see them run away with a lot of games compared to, you can't just look at it early in the year. When Mark Ingram gets back from that suspension, I think that the Saints will be a lot better. That's if their defense steps up. The offense for Cleveland's not that well. Tyrod's not panning out. I think it's a matter of time before we see Baker. Baker out there.
I think Baker's ready this week.
I believe so
actually,
too.
I think Baker was ready last week. An old Chinese man once told me that the best time to plant a tree was yesterday. The best time to put Baker Mayfield on the football field was last week. So let's do it. It's Baker time, and I got him on the bench in my big league. So let's see Mayfield do the damn thing.
One quick thing about Baker Mayfield: if they don't win this week with Tyrod Taylor against the Jets, Mayfield, I will guarantee you, will be starting next week because the Browns are going to look in the mirror and say, "Look at the guy that we drafted above the guy that's starting for the Jets." And that he beat us while our guy's sitting on the bench. We got to put Baker Mayfield in the game. Simple as that.
This week.
Not this week. If they lose to Sam Darnold and the Jets, Baker Mayfield will be in week 4. Put your money on it.
I agree. Tyrod's seriously underperformed. He had Josh Gordon. They got rid of him. And he had Jarvis Landry. Yeah, Landry had a lot of catches in week 1. He didn't really do that much in week 2. Didn't really impress me. But touching on the Mark Ingram thing, Michael Thomas fantasy owners, I hope y'all are winning now. Because whenever he comes back, it's going to be a run-first offense, and he will not have 10-plus catches every week.
All right, so that'll be our take on the Browns and Saints game. Not much action there. Next up, we had the Falcons and Panthers. That was a good NFC South Division rivalry game. Cam Newton showed up. Matt Ryan showed up. Everybody showed up to play. It was a good shootout. Good game.
The rookie receivers showed up to play. Both rookies, DJ Moore and Calvin Ridley, both had a touchdown this week. DJ Moore busted through the secondary for a touchdown, and Calvin Ridley just made plays like a young Alabama Bull would do. But, these young Alabama players are really making me an Alabama fan. I think I'm switching over.
He's going to be an Alabama fan now.
Hey, that's really not unexpected from D. Fruge. That boy is a bandwagon. But my takeaway from that game is Funchess, man. Where are you at? We literally watched 3 different Carolina Panthers get a receiving touchdown. So the first touchdown was to Jarius Wright. Then we have Torrey Smith and then DJ Moore. Like, D. Fruge was saying with a 51-yard touchdown pass or catch. I'm kind of curious as to why he's not getting the ball. Maybe people are guarding him better, more people are open. I don't know, but that Greg Olsen, he's out. That's who Cam Newton loses. Cam Newton also had more rushing yards than Christian McCaffrey, which was crazy to me. Like, McCaffrey's a playmaker. Give that man the ball. He had 10 receptions over 100 yards, but I think he's your playmaker. Cam and McCaffrey are definitely playmakers of that team.
Can somebody give Matt Ryan a little credit? The man finally scored a red zone touchdown.
4 of them.
Still none to Julio, but we'll take the start somewhere.
I need to hit on that for a second. Yeah, Matt Ryan showed up to play. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. First time he's ever done that in his career. And he hit Austin Hooper for a 7-yard touchdown and Calvin Ridley for a 12-yard touchdown. I'm really impressed with Matt Ryan. He found a way to do something against a good defense, I say, in Carolina. Secondary's terrible. And you done it without throwing it to Julio every time. Maybe take a little advice.
So that was everyone's takeaway on the Panthers game, unless you got something you want to cap on, Laren.
Christian McCaffrey, man, he's not a running back. Let's go ahead and get that clear. Reminds me of Kamara. They need another guy in there like Ingram is for the Saints. He's not a full-time running back to me. He's not legit enough for me.
They got C.J. Anderson there. He's not doing anything so far this year.
Not touching the ball.
Man, they got to get him some touches while McCaffrey's in that slot, I think. I mean, he's a good running back. He's their Jonathan Stewart, what Jonathan Stewart was to him. I think he may even be a little better than Stewart.
I may think that you're wrong on that because Jonathan Stewart was a beast with D'Angelo Williams. He's just the back half of his career now.
That's going to bring us into our next game, the Colts and the Redskins. If I tell you that I thought the Colts were going to win, I'd be a liar. Now, the Redskins O-line, what are y'all doing? This is the Colts. I don't know if Dustin must be right. The Andrew Luck effect must be a real thing because the whole team is playing like they're Pro Bowlers almost. They just held the Redskins to 9 points. They didn't even score a touchdown. This is NFL, and they didn't even score a touchdown.
I was about to say, Andrew Luck I don't know what it is about having a good quarterback that makes you have a good quarterback and magically your defense gets better. Like San Francisco's defense last year was terrible. They had Garoppolo.
It's because you give them confidence. Your quarterback's your captain. Without him, you just feel depleted.
Well, I don't know what the Bills are going to do because the Bills are the worst team I've ever seen.
Hold on, we're going to get on the Bills, and that's going to be a very touchy subject. We got a little something on the Bills, man. We'll get to that. But
not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah. Continuing on Indianapolis, that was a very boring game, so I'm sorry for any Washington or Indianapolis fans, but I'm going to skip that. Shout out to DeShazer, though, our hometown boy. He's one of the captains for the Redskins, so wish y'all would have won, man. I cheer for you every week. Big shout out
for sure.
Yeah, that's our boy. So
special teams captain.
Good job out there, bro. But y'all are just boring, man. I hate y'all's offense. Y'all are just too slow. Alex Smith is just check down. Run up the middle.
Alex Smith's a good quarterback.
It works. It's effective, but it's not effective when you play somebody who could put up major points.
Right, but
you're
I also
be
think
playing
that
from behind.
I think they gotta look for a number one receiver. They just got Marquise Goodwin back. He didn't play last week.
But anybody else got anything on Redskins and Indy? That
there's
game
no
was
takeaway
just
from that. Yeah,
that game was all right. They scored 30 points. I mean, not much fun. Next game we could all agree was also very boring. Texans and Titans.
Ooh.
Total letdown of a game. You had a backup quarterback beat Mr. Deshaun Watson, Mr. God himself, supposedly. Texans, you let me down again. I always cheer for the locals, and just wasn't a very good game. Deshaun Watson started to feel a little good, but just you got to put up more than 17 versus Tennessee, especially with Blaine Gabbert at QB. That game, boring.
My takeaway from the Texans and Titans game, J.J. Watt, where are you at? You claim you're good. You do all this good stuff for the community. You're a Hall of Fame person, but not a Hall of Fame player. J.J. Watt, where are you at? Deshaun Watson had 91 passing yards at halftime, ends up throwing for 325, couple touchdowns. Will Fuller got DeAndre Hopkins open. Quick stat. Malcolm Butler, statistically the worst cornerback in the league this year, 17 catches. When targeted, he's gave up 17 catches for 285 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Jeez. Start your number ones against Tennessee.
Bill Belichick is a goddess.
Yeah, that game was pretty boring to watch. Deshaun threw for 310 though.
Was it
Yeah, it was 310 still though. I mean, he ended up with 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Not bad, but like you said, he didn't perform until after half. They have to get a run game going there. I don't know if it's Lamar Miller. I mean, he only had 68 rushing yards on 14 carries. I think they need to get Foreman involved. Do you think it's a play call?
He's on injured reserve.
Foreman is? Damn. Yeah, never mind then. They don't have anybody else there.
I mean,
The thing
Miller
with-
almost averaged 5 yards a carry, so
The thing with Houston is, Houston,
like 4.8.
yeah, they're running the football. They're running the football, but it seems like to me they're not running it when they should run it. They're running it in they'll throw on first down and throw it incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10. Bring up 2nd and 10.
They'll run a draw on 3rd and
And then-
long and get
and
all
then-
these yards.
Yeah, but on 2nd and 10, then they want to run the ball up the middle. I'm here to tell you, if you want to run the ball, you run the ball on first down.
No real action really in that Texans-Titans game. Hope Texans can get something going, but one team that does have the ball rolling magically, I guess we could say, the Buccaneers. What's the deal over there? Are they going to win the NFC South, or when Ingram comes back, it's Saints division all over again?
I think the Buccaneers they're playing really good behind Fitzpatrick right now. They'll keep winning if nobody guards Deshaun Jackson. You can't let them have a 75-yard touchdown on the opening play. Every game pretty much. That's just going to set the tone for the whole game. You automatically – that's like a big slap in the nuts. Like, you can't take a 75-yard touchdown on the first play and then just expect to come back from it.
Yeah. I mean, to touch on that, I'm not buying into the Ryan Fitzpatrick, the Ryan
Come on, man.
Fitzmagic. I don't
Come
know,
on, I
dude.
got the Fitzpatrick stock for cheap.
I
Y'all
feel
ain't
that.
buying?
Dude, I don't know though, man. Hey,
What about with Jameis' situation he's
I can
in
see,
right now?
Yeah, Jameis is.
That just got upgraded a little bit to a little more
right.
serious.
I think they'll
They
see Fitzpatrick.
they said they were going to drop that charge. That girl wasn't that worried about it. I'm sure there was some money hand over hand exchanged. But when they said that Jameis was trying to deny it and that he was trying to push it aside and laugh about it and joke, they said, hell no, this is serious, dude.
Right.
Sexual assault serious. And they're going after him. And I don't see him playing this year.
I don't either.
I wouldn't play him, period.
I was just
He
about
was
to
the
touch on
biggest
that.
number 1 pick that I think was the bust in the last 5 years at least.
Right.
Biggest bust of a number 1 pick.
He hadn't done
Jameis, man, you suck.
I mean, but like he said, I think we're gonna see Fitzpatrick a lot more than we thought. But the takeaway on that game, I mean, I'm not buying into it, but I can respect it though because they beat the reigning champs. That's that's the Eagles. Even though they're getting Carson Wentz back this week, Foles, he ain't panning out. He got lucky last year, I think, to say the most. But I'm not buying into it.
I'm not buying into it. Yeah, they beat the reigning NFL defending champions. But the Eagles are so banged up that are they really the champions right now? Jay Ajayi didn't play but a handful of snaps. Carson Wentz is out. Nick Foles has looked like I can't even say Blake Bortles anymore. He looked like Sam Bradford. But I mean, Nelson Aguilar's your number 1 receiver. Come on now. He was like one drop away from being out of the league 2 years ago. He was the first person to ever get the nickname Stonehands in the NFL. They passed it to Amari Cooper, and now they're sending it to Zach Ertz. But where we're going with this is the Eagles. I don't know if the Eagles are going to make the playoffs. I really don't.
At this point?
I really don't. But their division's so weak. I take that back. They're going to win their division, but they're only going to win 10 games.
Only 10
That's kind of a lot. Yeah. Nowadays.
No. Not for a division winner.
Timeout. If anybody's getting called stone hands, we can all agree it's Demaryius Thomas.
Oh, man.
I don't know if
bad,
anybody
my
else watched
bad.
that game.
I'm sorry I
This
put that on
man's
you.
dropping screen passes. I could catch a screen pass.
I'm sorry.
I lost fantasy this week by 2 points, and I had Demaryius Thomas scored me 3 fantasy points.
Well, he
So
dropped.
you're telling
to make
me
it- to make
you're
you feel
telling me
better.
about it. If he even caught one of those passes, I won the game. I won the big league.
If it makes you feel any better, I have to agree with Matt. I've never seen a guy drop 10 passes in one game, but he done it against the Patriots in the snow. And then and everybody overlooked it because it was 5 degrees and in the snow. Well, they were in Denver, and this is September, and that boy dropped about 5 passes, legit. Like, him and Zach Ertz, I think they play with their feet.
Man, y'all talking about the NFC South. Before anything's got to get going, we've got to see defense perform in the NFC South. I mean, for real, you look at the Eagles, they probably wouldn't have won week 1 if it wasn't for the worst offensive coordinator in the league. I mean, simple as that. But, no, the Buccaneers, they're legit, man. I think they honestly have Super Bowl talent on the offensive side of the ball. But Deshaun Jackson and Mike Evans is a deadly duo. You just can't slow that down. And to pick up O.J. Howard, I mean, they're legit, man. They got to find something to do on the defense side of the ball. But, man, they're legit on offense. Super Bowl talent, no doubt.
Tampa Bay Super Bowl talent. A lot of people had them as a dark horse last year, and they didn't perform, and maybe it is their year. I also like the receiver Godwin. I like O.J. Howard, like you mentioned. I actually like the defense. They're a little beefed up. I've always been a McCoy fan. He's always been solid. And then they got JPP this year. They got a good little touch on that defensive side. Got Hargraves at corner. They're not bad.
We're all just waiting on the special for 4th of July, the JPP show.
No, speaking of show, we'll see a show this Sunday. Antonio Brown, 225 receiving yards this weekend. 13 catches.
Okay, no, that's a bold statement.
Tampa Bay.
That is a bold statement. I like that. So that's coming into our next game,
Which is the Steelers.
which is the Chiefs and the Steelers, right? So, man, my takeaway from that is the defense. The defense on both sides of the ball, not just Steelers, not just Kansas City. 42 points from the Chiefs and 37. Yeah, we're talking about the takeaways.
What I liked on the Steelers game was that we gave that last week as a premium play, the over of that game.
Yeah.
Remember that? That was our lock last week if you watched the show. Over 52.5. I told them over 60. I didn't care what it was, dude. That was the over
Both
to take. That was the game to take.
Are that bad?
And Patty Mahomes, I'm going to call you Patty, dude. You're not even Patrick. You got too much swag to be Patrick. You're Patty. You're Patty Mahomes, or Patty M, whatever you want to
I
call
like
him.
that takeaway.
10 touchdowns in your first 2 career starts, dude.
Wow.
Stand up. Pick him up off the waivers if he's somehow still
And
available. Because this man's for real, and he's Rookie of the Year. After the first snap I watched him take this season, he was the Rookie of the Year.
Just him to Tyreek Hill. I seen the one long touchdown in the preseason, and I knew I had to have Tyreek Hill on my fantasy team. I wasn't too hype on Patrick Mahomes because I didn't know what it was going to be, how consistent he was going to be. But Andy Reid, his play calling, is getting the job done. I'm wondering if eventually they're going to slow him down. But with all the weapons, I don't see how you can.
Yeah, they're offensively they're loaded. I mean, you have Kareem Hunt in the backfield who really hasn't even had his time to shine. So when he does get the time to shine, it's game over. I mean, you have Travis Kelce over there. You have they had Sammy Watkins who actually did something this week. That's really good. I think that's a good outlook for the Chiefs. The only thing they need to work on is that defense. That's the only thing. There you have the offensive weapons there. Patty Mahomes at quarterback, dirty. But yeah, that's I think that offense is lethal. The defense is bad, so I see them losing a couple games when they actually play a legit defense. And Steelers, y'all have to get y'all stuff together. Antonio Brown, you're skipping practice, then you're tweeting to a fan, which is absolutely dumb. Like, stick to football. Yeah, irrelevant, extremely irrelevant. Focus on yourself and doing better. Best receiver in the league. You have to at all, not professional. So stick to playing football. Le'Veon Bell, get back. They need you. When
Pay
you're touching
him.
the ball, they aren't going to lose.
Pay him. I'm not paying Bell, dude. Let him go.
I'm not paying him either.
You agree?
I want the running back from Iowa State in the draft. I watched that dude run the other day. He might be the best college running back I think I've ever watched. Ever.
Somebody.
Have y'all seen that guy run? That boy's a beast. And he's like bad to the bone. But my takeaway from the Steelers and Chiefs game, I lied to y'all. Don't trade Travis Kelce in fantasy. I'm sorry. But yeah, Mahomes is a beast. Wait till people get tape on him. Andy Reid's offense is like this every year for like the first 5 weeks, and then after that it's shit. Belichick figured me out. I'm not human. Oh wait, yes I am. Andy Reid's offense is like on a whole nother level until like week 5 every year. So Mahomes, yes, he can throw. Yes, he's good. Somebody, is there like a surgery you can have for your voice? Because he needs to have it.
I hadn't heard him talk. All I see him show up and do his job.
But
and
anyways,
be the best at his job right now.
anyways-
So you're saying he's going to fall off. Of course he's going to not average 5 touchdowns a game. But fall off is in not win the Rookie of the Year.
well, technically, he's averaging like 3.9 touchdowns per game. But because he started 3 games in his career.
See, the thing with the Chiefs is, like, we say their offense is going to regress, but who do you stop? Week 1, you saw them take away Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill blows up. Now, Tyreek Hill has, I say, a down week, but he still had 90 yards and a touchdown. And then Travis Kelce just looks unguardable. Then you got Sammy Watkins going for 100. They haven't even started running the ball yet. Combo in a run game, and who knows what's about to happen. Because they can't sling it forever. You have to control the ball more to help your defense. Or because if you don't, I hope Mahomes is throwing 5 touchdowns a game because y'all can't stop nobody.
Right, I can agree with that. All right, so that brings us to our next game, which some of us in here picked. There was 4 of us, and I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm the one that picked the Dolphins. They were all rolling with the Jets. I'm not. I wasn't high on them, man. Dolphins 2-0 now. Got Ryan Tannehill, no interceptions, which is crazy because he normally averages about 2 or 3 turnovers a game. So
Hold up. He only threw for 168 yards. So don't get too hype on
but
Tannehill.
that's 2 touchdowns compared to their defense. All right, who got Sam? All right, Sam Darnold.
Hey, hold on. Can we
334.
all agree that Matt looks a little bit like Ryan Tannehill? Can we all agree?
Hey, once we get our video
Give me Lauren
podcast
Tannehill
coming,
and we can call it a deal.
once we get our video podcast coming, y'all will see exactly what we're talking about. But that compares to Sam Darnold throwing 2 interceptions. I like a lot out of the rookie, but the Dolphins are trying to step up. I mean, Tannehill not a great quarterback, but they got the job done, and that's my takeaway from the game.
We got a picture
wow.
pulled up here. Matt, I have a serious question. Are you the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins? This is Ryan Tannehill.
Secretly, I am.
My takeaway from the Dolphins and Jets game is that there is no takeaway because I didn't watch that game. I refuse to watch the Dolphins play because I am tired of watching teams throw 1-yard passes, and that is what Miami does.
Yeah,
Hey,
that was
hey,
the
guy.
most boring game
Hey,
of
man,
the week.
catch a
probably.
screen pass.
That was
Like-
the most boring game of the week this week. At least it wasn't 8 hours, though, like their game was last week. So we'll just skip right into the next game, and this is going to be a good one. We're going to have to save this one. We got to save this one. First, let's go with Green Bay and the Vikings. Another tie. Why is this still a rule? I'm going to keep saying it. I thought it only happens once a year. This is the second time in the second week. Why do we still have a tie? And a great game. 2 NFC playoff teams, no doubt about it, pending a Rodgers injury.
Which will
Vikings,
probably happen.
I actually thought Vikings were going to win. If they had a field goal kicker, they would have won. But that was a very good game. Lived up to the hype.
be honest, the Vikings didn't win. If we all saw the hit by Clay Matthews, I mean, y'all got to bring violence back into the game. That wasn't even a violent hit. That was a football hit. That is perfect technique tackling, and you let that happen. On a interception that was thrown, too. Would have ended the game. Packers would have beat the Vikings. That's trash, man. Y'all got to bring violence back to football.
Yeah, I'm tired of this stuff, and I talked on it last week a little bit, how much I hate the new putting your bodily weight on the quarterback. Stupidest rule. Quarterbacks, you're going to get hurt, dude. You're the quarterback. You're supposed to get hit. So just get better at getting hit. Don't make these bullcrap rules. Just go out there and play the damn game. Let's see it played like it used to be played. I agree. Stop all these fines. Players don't want to get fined. They go out there to do that. They go out there to cause damage. That's what you do.
My takeaway from Minnesota and Green Bay, my first takeaway is I know defense plays a huge part in quarterback play, but Kirk Cousins outplayed Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers choked for the first time I've ever seen it in my life. They done read option and he pulled the ball and kept it and dropped the ball with nobody within about 25 yards of him. He was ending the game on that run, and he just dropped the ball. You know who wouldn't have dropped that ball? Tom Brady, because he wouldn't have ran it.
Was it his knee?
It was his knee.
It was his knee.
But that's one takeaway, and another takeaway is Dalvin Cook, where you at? Where are you at, bro?
Hey, you don't talk about my boy like that.
I understand you're coming off ACL, but Jamal Charles came off of 5 of those, and where you at? Todd Gurley came off an ACL, Pro Bowler. AP, Pro Bowler.
Y'all need to go check out Shinerbach beer. I just cracked one open. That's some good beer out of Shiner, Texas here. Real good stuff. Y'all go check it out.
Yeah, Packers, your defense is still what it always has been. Your quarterback still won't play a full 16 games. Get used to another season of just barely making it in the playoffs and then losing a game that you should win.
Anything else on this Green Bay game, or y'all want to go ahead and jump into Jimmy G getting back on the dub board? I'm going to give y'all my bad beat for the week. Frugier, you done it again, bro. You're down in the hole a couple $100. Watching the San Francisco game, you go to take San Fran by 6. Didn't get it in time. Game already started. Started at 3:05 instead of 3:25 like I expected. So I missed the bet, and I'm all down. Jimmy G's going to go out there and kick their ass. Game starts up, doing good, on fire. Coming into the second half, I was like, I'm taking second half. San Fran, heavy. I'm feeling it. San Fran by 6. They're up. They come out of the halftime, score 2 touchdowns. I think they were up 17 points at one point. Come back and only win the game by 3 points. Miss the spread by 1 point on the second half.
I've seen you bet a lot of times in my life. I would be willing to bet that you also bet the Chicago second half.
I did not, but I did have somebody take it, which would have also been a bad beat. Wormy, I know you're going to listen to this. He would have hit a $30 3-team parlay if Bears would have covered that second half. Would have paid well over $150, I think.
For you bettors out there, it's not safe to take 7 player props in one game. Rookie found out the hard way. I'm down to 80.
You didn't have to tell anybody listening to this that's ever put in a sports bet. Nobody. We all have learned the hard way. Player props don't hit. I just took 3 of them a few minutes ago, and I have no idea why.
Somehow these guys in Vegas have it figured out. They sit at these computers and run the craziest numbers I've ever seen. They take into account, Odell Beckham catches for 82 yards per game on prime time and 98 in regular day games. They take into account these crazy stats, put them all together, and somehow are always within 5 yards just about. And the unders is what always hits on the prop bets. It's never the overs. Never. So there's a little tip for y'all. Unless it's something like quarterbacks completions That's usually a good over to take. If you think the team's going to be playing from down, that'll usually be good for you. But that's not a bad bet. Just don't take overs on player props. Don't even take player props.
Okay, so I done an experiment in basketball season, and I've told Hunter about it, but I haven't told anybody else. For like a month straight, I wrote down every under in every single basketball game in the NBA, and I would have won thousands of dollars. Every single under would have won thousands. There were nights I would win like $400 just off of taking every under.
And we need to do a more advanced study of this, because I wonder if that was just for 1 week, 2 weeks, over a month period. We need to get long-term numbers, but that might be something that's unknown. Because nobody wants to bet an under on a football or basketball or anything game.
Because
We
people
want to
want
see
offense.
action, yeah. So they juice it up so high that it's going to go under. But we still take it just because we want to see action. We don't want to see a boring game. So, yes, I agree. I remember that study you did on the unders, and the numbers were skewed in favor of unders. So we'll jump into our next game with that, and this is one I've really been waiting on. The Chargers in Buffalo. If you didn't watch what happened in that Buffalo game at halftime, then go check it out. Vontae Davis, cornerback, veteran player, quit the game. We'll use retired. I'm going to use a synonym for retired is quit the game at halftime and straight up left.
As a veteran, I don't think he signed up to go 0-2, 0-16 most likely, because they ain't winning. They ain't stopping nobody, and their offensive line can't block for shit, so they won't score. Granted, they put up 20 points against the Chargers, but junk time,
Garbage
backups are
time,
in.
yeah.
Like, it doesn't even really – it counts, but it doesn't really count.
I really want to know what he was thinking when he signed a deal for a team who had Nathan Peterman as their starting quarterback. Please
Let's
tell
all
me
agree that Josh Allen's the starter and they're not going to get any better whatsoever. Can we all agree?
I want to know the real stupid thing about the whole situation. Why the hell would you sign A.J. McCarron to a contract of that size just to trade him away? He was clearly the best quarterback in Buffalo. And then all of a sudden, Gruden wants him as a backup quarterback, so he complains about being a backup quarterback. He wants to be the guy, so he tells Cincinnati to let him go. He doesn't re-sign with Cincinnati. Then he goes to Buffalo. He's all pumped about being the starting quarterback. Supposedly fractures his collarbone, goes to get a second opinion. They check on his collarbone. It's not broke. He could come back. He comes back in, plays in a preseason game, and then they trade him. Why would you trade your best quarterback if your second best quarterback is Nathan Peterman?
Because
Nathan
they were so
Peterman-
hype on Josh Allen.
We cannot dog Blake Bortles ever again.
We're going to get to Bortles.
It's all about Peterman. He's the worst.
But Chargers.
With the Chargers, my man Phillip Rivers, he did his thing. 4 incompletions on Sunday and 3 touchdowns. 3 of them probably all to Melvin Gordon, because we know he's not rushing a touchdown this year.
I had Melvin Gordon in fantasy. I was about to mention that. I had a lot of hate for picking him so high at 12 or whatever I got him at, but he was my guy. I liked him, and he's showing up so far. I like him in the receiving games.
I was the hater. Tell me what he does this week. We'll talk next week.
Yeah, well, they're playing the Rams. I
Stay
mean, he
tuned.
only averaged 3.1 yards per carry against Buffalo. The real running back in Los Angeles is Eckler, averaging 7 yards a carry last week. And catching passes, so we'll see.
That's skewed numbers too, though. He ain't every down back. They put him in special formations where he's going to be a mismatch. Shit like that. Melvin Gordon's still my guy. This week, playing the Rams, he's got to tear him up. Rams are the best defense, and they're number 1 this week in my power rankings. We'll get to that later on in the show. We'll give our top 5. But Rams are still number 1 this week for me, and I think Chargers are going to be just fine. They're shaking back. They're about to get Bosa back fully healthy, and we'll see what happens.
So you're telling me the Rams are going to score more points this week than the Vikings playing the Bills?
Absolutely not.
The Vikings, you said they're your number 1 defense on your power rankings for fantasy this week. But
Not for fantasy. Rams are my number one power ranked team in the league.
okay, I got
Period,
you
yeah.
because
Not in
because
fantasy.
Minnesota's about to bend Buffalo over and break one off on Josh Allen.
Is that why there's a 17-point spread on the game?
Take
Did I
it-
hear Vegas calling one up and Buffalo upsetting Minnesota? Hey, Buffalo money line. You heard it here first. That's a conspiracy theory.
That's all it is, because that shit ain't happening. Off of the timeout. Gotta comment on Vontae Davis. Not all heroes wear capes. When you're tired of doing something, you do what you want to do. You don't take advice from others. You don't do it the way other people tell you to do. I applaud him for the way he walked out. Walk out on your terms. When you're ready, you do what you want. You're grown.
I believe that, but I also think he's dumb for quitting at halftime. That was kind of weak. But anyways, that'll bring us into our next game, and it makes me think of a pit bull versus a chihuahua in a sense. If anybody can guess what game I'm about to bring up, the Rams versus Arizona. I don't know why I did not take this game for a max play, but we did give it as one of our premium picks last week. They didn't cover the 11-point spread. They covered the 33.5-point spread. These boys damn near won by 40 points. So, Rams, keep it up. Arizona, you put up a goose egg, so y'all just suck. Figure it out.
Speaking of spread, did y'all happen to see the Alabama A&M spread? 28.5 points. That's crazy. Just had to throw that out there.
The
I was
over for the
expecting
game was 70.
I'm expecting like 10 points.
Los Angeles, my bold prediction, Los Angeles will go undefeated this year if they beat this week or coming up week the Chargers and next week Vikings. And that's facts.
As a David Johnson fantasy owner, I'm crying myself to sleep right now.
I wouldn't. Be
You
crying.
gotta do
You're 2-0.
something. You gotta do. I might be 2-0, but my number one pick ain't doing a damn thing.
You're 2-0.
He might be 2-0, but David Johnson's 0-7. No, David Johnson's 1-7. Have y'all seen that man's wife?
Y'all are. Matter of fact, Matt, you are 0-2. You're averaging like 115 points a week, and you're 2-0.
Dubs.
Somebody pull up a picture of David Johnson's wife,
Oh,
please.
she's a baddie.
She's a piece of work. You'll always be a winner there. If Arizona goes 0-16 this year or 2-14, they could give David Johnson one win alone just for that smoking wife.
And touching on Rosen coming in to play quarterback. All right. Now, Sam Bradford, you threw for 90 yards, bro. How do you not even – you didn't average 25 yards a quarter. A quarter. That's it.
With a Hall of Fame receiver.
I mean, granted, he did tweak a hamstring, but the game was so far out of hand, they just went ahead and pulled him out because they knew they were taking the L. But going back to what I said about David Johnson, he's your best player. He should touch the ball at least 60% of your plays. I don't know why Bradford is throwing the ball to Ricky Seals-Jones. Who the hell is Ricky Seals-Jones? But put David Johnson in the slot, throw him a screen, do something. Something got to work because 34-0 in your own division. Jesus. Hunter just pulled up a picture of David Johnson's wife and Jesus Christ. But anyways.
She's a beauty.
She was a gift from above.
But anyways, I know a lot of fantasy owners out there are either hating the Rams or loving the Rams for pulling Todd Gurley after the third quarter. Minor cramps and up by 20 some points in the third quarter got him pulled.
I wasn't even aware that he was having cramps, but on that game, Sean McVay, you are John Madden. It is no longer Madden 19. It is now McVay 20, because your offense is a sight for the eyes to see. You are the best offensive-minded coach I've ever watched in my life. And that's what I got off of that. Brandon Cooks, keep being wide open every play.
Exactly what's finna go on.
He's wide open every play.
Todd Gurley hasn't even had to shine yet. The offense, man, it's just so strategic. You can't stop it. They're legit. Brandon Cooks was the best pickup they could have had. Reminds me of a Tyreek Hill. Nowhere near as talented, but when you have Gurley, how talented do you have to be at the wide receiver core? You know what I'm saying? And their defense is too dominant. It's one of the best defenses I've ever seen. Just so fast with everything they do, and added a little swag to it. They're legit, man.
Are they the best defense you've ever seen?
All I'm saying is
Because
don't wear your chain on the field.
They've played the Raiders and the Cardinals. Granted, the Cardinals couldn't even score one single point.
Look at them down
Till
the
like
stretch last year, though.
A minute left.
Look at them down the stretch last year, though, without the addition of a couple of these Pro Bowl players.
Yeah,
they're about to peak. They're about to peak and win 13 or 14 games.
They're gonna be
a 1 seed in the NFC for sure.
They're gonna be a 1 seed in the NFC, and like I said, I called them to win the Super Bowl before the season started. Did I not? Them and the Chargers would play in the Super Bowl.
I called the Saints, and that's probably the furthest thing from. We probably got a better chance of getting abducted by UFO than the Saints winning the Super Bowl this year.
But I can honestly say now that I don't think the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. The New England Patriots, that addition of Josh Gordon, something serious.
Man,
that brings us into that game.
They let Jacksonville win that game. They wanted Jacksonville to think that Jacksonville is better than them. Look, as you see all these storylines and experts saying that they ran the most Manila offense Bill Belichick's ever ran. Watch the game. They're not running plays that Tom Brady. You're telling me you're trying to win a football game and you throw Gronk the ball 2 times? They weren't even double teaming him.
Well, we talked about the game a little earlier, but let's go ahead and go to it with New England and Jacksonville. Man, Jacksonville really put it on them, man. And I'm telling you, if Bortles can perform like this in big game moments, he can be legit, man.
But he won't, because they're going to say, let's get in the single back and run Leonard Fournette. 6-0 without Fournette since he's been in the league. In the 6 games he hasn't played, they're averaging 8 more points a game.
Man, it's just because they told him. I mean, it looked like LSU out there when he got there. Second half, they completely died down and just conservative offense. You can't be like that when you're playing Tom Brady.
Which brings me to my next point. Le'Veon Bell, you ain't making no money standing on the sideline. You got Tevin Coleman running for 100 yards. Atlanta hanging that burger on Carolina. Matt Breida, the leading rusher in the NFL right now. 11 carries for $138. That's a backup running back. All these James Conner performing without him. He ain't making no money standing on the sideline because obviously every running back can perform.
I don't know what I believe about that Patriots and Jacksonville game, but I do know Jacksonville's for real. With or without Blake Bortles performing like he did. And that's my apology of the week. I might write you a handwritten letter, Blake Bortles, because I made fun of you very bad these last few weeks, and you didn't Bortle for once versus the best quarterback there's ever been. And here's a quick stat about Bortles. Bortles is the 3rd highest yards per carry rusher in the history of the NFL. Mike Vick averaged 6 yards per carry. This isn't just quarterbacks. This is running backs included. Mike Vick averaged most yards per carry in the NFL history with 6 yards per carry. Blake Bortles averages 5.8. He is the 3rd highest in NFL history. And we make fun of him all the time because he's not a winner.
Yeah, he is a winner. What do you mean?
But this year, he's a winner.
He's definitely a winner. For some reason, the comment that Jalen Ramsey made, he finds a way to win games. He will find a way to win the ball game no matter what. Whether, like Hunter said, on his feet, through the air. I mean, he proved me wrong. He threw for over 300-something yards this past week, and I literally called him garbage last week when we were on the show. But
we got to get together and write him a. We ought to get together and write him a little handwritten
we really ought to, because I mean,
of apology.
He played like a legit quarterback this week. But to touch on what D-Frew said, I'm kind of buying into that. Maybe they didn't want them to see their full offense, what they're really made of, and then come around playoffs, they're gonna play like the New England Patriots play every year. They stun everyone.
Man, going on Jacksonville, my boy Jalen Ramsey, absolute freak. But you cannot let Chris Hogan burn you twice. Little white boy burn you twice. And then you're going to get away with it with Josh Gordon coming in. So, I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and let that out there for Jacksonville.
I'm also going to say this about that game. Patriots lost 3 DBs to injury in that game. None of them season injury ending. Thank God. Love the Patriots. Love to see. Love to see what we do.
Of course he does.
Love to
Hey,
see.
hold on. Who else you like this year? Patriots, Rams. You like the Buccaneers now too, right?
No,
Didn't I see you wearing a Buccaneers hat yesterday?
No. I'm not buying
on
stock
campus?
on the Fitzmagic. But my favorite teams, like I said last week, is the Minnesota Vikings, the Los Angeles Rams, the New England Patriots, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then I have one sleeper team that I'm definitely a buyer on. I'm buying the Buffalo Bills to win 0 games this year. Look, first time ever. We might have 2 teams win 0 games. Do the Bills and the Cardinals play each other this year? Because they might both go 0-16 if they don't. Like, they're that bad.
If 2 teams go 0-16, who gets the number 1 pick?
Coin flip. That's really what it'll
Really?
be. Yeah.
Touching on the Patriots game, I believe what Dustin said. The Patriots did not run an offense really worth anything. And with Josh Gordon coming, he don't even have to know the playbook. Tom Brady will get him in the huddle and say, hey, run deep. I'm throwing it over your shoulder. It's going to be a perfect pass. All you got to do is catch the ball and get past the end zone. That's all you got to do. That's touchdown. He will be the Randy Moss of the old Patriots. And
Speaking of Randy Moss will tell you to this day he could do one thing. Run a go. Run a go. He'll run past you, and if you underthrow it, he'll jump up and catch it over you.
And he ran straight into that gold jacket.
Yep.
Ran straight into that Hall of
And-
Fame. Ran straight into the Super Bowl trophy
He said
multiple times.
he said he couldn't even remember plays half the time. And when he'd tell the play in the huddle, he'd say, just go deep. Just
That's
go
cool.
deep. That's what Tom Brady would tell him.
Did he
said,
say it like that, or did he say it like, just go deep, boys, throw that bitch up to me?
But Edelman's coming back. Gordon's coming. Sony Michel is going to be a beast. Get ready.
All right.
Back on the bus.
Can we all agree that we could skip that Oakland and Denver game? Super boring. Oakland, Gruden, you're 0-2. You're getting $10 million a year, $1 million more than me. I don't know what you're doing, dude. They might as well have hired me as the head coach. I'd take that extra $1 million.
Find a legit quarterback. That's all you got to do. He's terrible under pressure, as we've seen against Los Angeles. He threw every under he possibly could. Targeted Amari Cooper 3 times under pressure. They lean way too much on their tight end. Oh, Cook, he's good, but no, yeah, Amari's the number 1, and he needs to go back to being that. But didn't they just who'd they just pick up?
Martavis Bryant.
Martavis Bryant. So maybe that'll open up Cooper a little bit more.
I'm not big on the whole Oakland thing. I will say they do need to get Amari Cooper the ball. He was running some great routes the other day. He's huge. He's huge.
he's huge, as
Yeah.
my man Trump would say.
Huge. We're gonna build a wall. But fake news. The Oakland Raiders have a D-line. Yeah, the Raiders, your D-line's terrible. John Gruden, please get fired, but please don't go back to the Monday Night Football team because I can't stand your voice. You and Mahomes run through me like a semi-truck.
Spider 2, Y banana. That's all. That's the only play you need to succeed in the NFL. Gruden, I know why you're losing. You don't have 4 fullbacks to rotate in and out.
No joke. Yeah. To touch on so let's move in on to the next game, which was a surprise call from all of us because we all in this house took the New York Giants to upset the actually wasn't even an upset. We just took them to beat the Dallas Cowboys. We did.
That game was a total letdown as well. That was one of my bad beats of the week. I took Giants team total over 19.5. I figured they'd score at least 20 points. I also thought they were going to beat Dallas, but that game, we're not even going to talk about it. I know we got a lot of Dallas fans. Y'all's defense is good.
I was just
Y'all's
about to say that. That's my
offense
takeaway.
sucks.
Is their defense. Their defense played phenomenal. And Dak Prescott with no turnovers. That's really good. That's looking really good for them.
I don't understand how Dak Prescott could say he accepted the challenge What did he throw for? 165, and his first pass
Yeah.
was a 75-yard touchdown. 64-yard touchdown. It just don't add up. He's not legit. They just played against a slop Giants team.
I have an interesting fact about Dak Prescott, and I'm going to compare him to a former quarterback. And with that being,
You should have kept Romo, Dallas.
my takeaway is actually, where is it at? Okay, so most games, most quarterbacks are judged off of primetime games you can watch on TV. Dak Prescott is nothing more than Colin Kaepernick ever was. Green Bay, every time Green Bay plays, Green Bay's on national TV. In his career versus Green Bay, Dak Prescott averages 300 yards a game passing, 30 rushing, and 3.2 touchdowns per game. That's Dak Prescott. Colin Kaepernick against Green Bay averaged 300 yards passing, a little bit over, give or take, a little bit over. Over 100 yards rushing per game, and 3.2 touchdowns per game. So if you take away those games, and you talk about quarterbacks only being able to play in the big game, that's what you want from a quarterback. But you don't play Green Bay in the playoffs. And with that being said, that brings me to another quick little thing. You will know if a quarterback's good at the end of the first quarter. When the game script is gone, you will know if a quarterback is good. For instance, Trubisky, this year, in the 2 opening drives, he's threw 2 touchdowns. After the opening drive, he's only thrown 1 touchdown this season. And let's not mention, that's the 6th time in his career he's threw a touchdown on the opening drive and hasn't thrown a touchdown the rest of the game. 6 times on the opening drive you score a touchdown. The rest of the game you don't score. That's what you call a quarterback who can only play with the script.
I just want to apologize for anybody that took the Giants, because I had them winning that game huge. I'm even a Cowboys fan, and I thought they were going to lose. But who knew that the Dallas defensive line, mostly, was going to put that much pressure on Eli to make a game that close and allow Dak to manage the game and get the win.
The Giants have a terrible offensive line, and it's time to call quits on Eli. He just ain't got it no more. As simple as that. They don't have enough talent around Odell to give him the ball. Well, rephrase, they do. Evan Ingram, absolute beast tight end. One of the fastest tight ends I've ever seen. They're just Saquon, another absolute freak. Watching him play, he broke every first tackle he got yesterday. Not a one-on-one tackle was made. He's a for sure game changer. They just need a quarterback and for sure an offensive line. They can't go without it.
Touching on Saquon, I know you're a beast, but you got to average more than 2.5 yards to carry, no matter how bad your line is. Zeke's line is banged up. He's got nobody on the outside to take men out the box.
Still got 2 Pro Bowlers. The Giants have the worst O-line in history.
I beg to differ. Russell Wilson has got sacked 12 times in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What about Soldier?
Nate Soldier?
Yeah.
New England got rid of him for a reason.
Wow. They knew it was time. All right, that'll bring us into the next and final game of the week. Monday Night Football, Bears-Seahawks. Wasn't much action. We saw Mr. Mack do his thing once again, the Mack attack. Had another sack, another fumble, strip sack. He did his thing. Bears won the game. That was a bad beat because Seattle come back in the second half a little bit, but we all had Bears. We all told y'all to take them, so that was a good pick. Bears did their thing. Seattle, y'all just aren't worth a damn once again.
Touching on the Bears, their offense is very slow, and they will use a lot of plays, a lot of clock, but their defense is the truth. Adding Khalil Mack is just energy in the rest of that defense. Leading the league in sacks after 2 weeks. And I think aren't the Bears defense is the only defense in the league with 2 defensive touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
If your defense is going to score for you, look at Jacksonville last year. Your defense scores touchdowns, you get wins. They're 1-1 now, but their schedule will get a little bit easier until they have to start a lot of division play.
Man, a real good takeaway from not even Denver, Chicago, is that they beat Russell Wilson in a primetime game. Russell Wilson in primetime games is 8-1 and has a 27-2 touchdown to interception ratio on primetime games, Monday Night Football. He's an absolute freak, and they made him look weak, made everybody look weak on their team. Their defense is just another level of good.
It's kind of hard to throw the ball whenever you snap the ball and you immediately have to run backwards to avoid a sack.
I'm telling you, man, they put pressure on, and Khalil Mack, I honestly did not know he was that good. I knew he was up there compared to Von Miller, but I hate to break it to you, Von Miller, you have nothing on Khalil Mack. And that is facts.
I think Khalil Mack and Von Miller are 2 freak athletes as well. But this year it's clear Khalil Mack's your defensive MVP
How's it clear?
because just
Von Miller has 4.5 sacks in 2 games.
Yeah.
How's it clear?
But do you hear his name like you're hearing Mack's name? Did he just get traded?
Well, put it
Is
this
his
way.
team better?
The reason you ain't heard his name like Khalil Mack is because Khalil Mack played on Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. Denver played at 12 o'clock, and then when did Denver play their other game? 2 12 o'clock games. At 3. 1 3. If you play in prime time, of course you're gonna be like shined on.
All I'm saying
TJ
is
Watt
that
TJ Watt had 4 sacks in 1 game.
all I'm saying is that Khalil Mack is going to disrupt the division with the best quarterbacks in it. Aside from maybe the NFC South with Breeze, Ryan, and Cam Newton, and now Fitzmagic, that division's quarterbacks are very good, and he's going to make Bears relevant for the first time in years just by himself, single-handedly. He makes the Bears a much better team.
The Bears
And
had
he's
a good
gonna be the
defense
most
last year.
Nah, they had a decent defense.
Okay, he makes them
What
good.
was their record last year?
What
6
about
and 10?
What about when Von Miller had these type of players on his defense?
And they were the number 1 defense in the league.
Exactly.
So is Bears going to be your number 1?
No.
And he don't have near what Denver had that year. That was an all-time great defense.
You say
Denver
you say he doesn't have
had.
it,
Wade Phillips at D coordinator.
but the best defensive player that was on Von Miller's team was Danny Trevathan, and who does he play for?
No, it was the best defensive player on his team was himself. Then it was Aqib Talib. Then it was Chris Harris Jr. Then it was
Chris Harris Jr. was a non-factor when they won the Super Bowl.
Oh man, come on now. He was the top 5 cornerback that year.
He was young.
He was young and great. He was in 95 overall in Madden.
It
You
don't-
can't dispute Madden facts.
all
He
I'm
was
saying-
a great cornerback. His numbers, like in one-on-one coverage versus that division's best receivers, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, etc., was top-notch. He was better than Talib and not rated as high as him, just in people's eyes.
Okay.
He was in Madden's eyes because Madden knows
Okay.
what's up.
But Leonard Floyd, Pro Bowler, probably going to be all pro. Danny Trevathan, Pro Bowler, could be all pro. Roquan Smith, 8th overall pick, just getting started.
Okay, that's just their line and their linebackers. What about their secondary and corners?
They traded the
I
Chiefs
can't
and got a
even name
DB.
one. I can't even name one that's going to be even relevant this year. A corner or
Amukamara?
safety. No, he had a pick 6. Okay, he ain't been relevant in years, dude.
Yes, he has.
He's past his prime.
He has been relevant.
He was never good in Giants
Just know.
secondary.
Just know.
He was never good, or they wouldn't have let him go.
Just know, Denver's defense, Von Miller didn't have the weapons he had, or Seattle wouldn't have put up a 50 burger on your boy and Peyton Manning.
Nah, man. I still think that
Yikes.
Denver defense was all-time best.
Yikes.
And that Seahawks, and I think that game was rigged. That was probably one of the most rigged Super Bowls I'd ever seen. That snap to start the
was-
game
that
over
was-
Peyton Manning's head by over 5 yards. Did that happen all season? No, it
That was
happens in the
just-
Super Bowl.
That was just
And that-
typical Peyton Manning
that-
being Peyton Manning, choking in the big games.
How was that
couldn't
him a
beat
bad
Tom
snap
Brady.
over his head?
Couldn't beat Tom Brady, never could. Just like Aaron Rodgers can't beat Tom Brady.
Yeah, and Tom Brady's never won one without something coming up that year.
If we're naming
He's never
quarterback-
won a championship where he had no allegations or Patriots had no. Oh, come on now. No, still though. Come on now with Tom
We're
Brady.
talking about quarterbacks
He's
that
a
can beat Tom Brady.
cheater. He's a cheater, bro.
The only one you can say is Eli.
If we're talking about quarterbacks that can't beat Tom Brady, the list goes on. But there's only one GOAT that can handle with the GOAT, and that's Eli Manning, no doubt. You put him up against Tom Brady, he puts him down every time.
We may see
He's
that
an
in the
absolute-
playoffs
he's an
this year.
absolute-
Then
I'm telling you, when the Giants
I
make the
doubt
playoffs,
it, but
it's like the San Francisco Giants making the playoffs. They always find a way to get a little magic and run with it.
all right, so we'll wrap that up there. That was NFL Week 1 review. That's going to be our main topic most of the time. Week 2 review. Sorry about that. That'll be our main topic each show. Now we'll quickly go through Week 3. We're not really going to give much of a preview, but we're just going to give our picks for each game. And we'll start it off with Thursday night's game, Jets and Browns. I'm taking Browns.
I'm gonna take the Browns as well. I'm buying in on the Browns defense. I like the Browns defense, and going up against a rookie quarterback that they scouted a lot to see who they wanted to draft, so they know really what Sam Darnold has. I mean, they don't know the Jet scheme and all this, but Tyrod, I think he's eventually gonna get it going. He's got to learn a new system. He's connecting with new weapons. It's not like in Buffalo where he knew the system for years and he's just plugging in new people and he knows where they're going to be already. But I really think Dustin was right earlier in the show where if they don't win this game, Cleveland got to start thinking about putting Baker Mayfield in. As much as I want the Browns to finally get a win, I think this is their week.
Man, the Browns are going to win, but Baker Mayfield's story starts in the second half of the game. He's going to come in, dominate, and his story starts here.
I hope.
And
Please let Baker
I
play.
hope he's as hot as Deshaun Watson was last year.
Let the men play. Let the boys sit and let the men play. Put Baker Mayfield, a trial and true winner, on the field this week. Let the number 1 pick go at it versus your second quarterback, took in Darnold, and derail the Darnold train this week. Darnold throws 3 picks. Browns the top 5 defense this week.
I'm also picking the Browns. I mean, everything I want to take the Jets. I like Jamal Adams. All pro safety, Jamal Adams.
LS who?
LSU.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, he didn't play for no scrub school like West Virginia. But, yeah, I got the Browns. That's it.
All right, we'll slide into game number 2 of the week there. We'll start with our very own New Orleans going into Atlanta to face the Falcons in the first of 2 they'll play this year. Man, I'm biased, of course, but I really think, I say it every week so far, I really think Saints are going to turn a gear this week and realize how serious they need to be. It's a common foe. Should have beat them both times last year. I think Saints win the game.
I'm going to take the Falcons at home. Tevin Coleman, speed back. I don't think New Orleans got enough speed on their defense. Their D-line's a bunch of big guys. I mean, all D-lines are big guys, but theirs are more interior big guys. And then Cam Jordan, but he's looking to sack the quarterback. He ain't looking to hit the back. So I'm taking the Falcons, and I'm taking them by a touchdown this week at home against New Orleans.
The Falcons will win if somebody besides Julio performs. And that's facts. It always is. I mean, Calvin Ridley has to step up and perform. Sanu has to perform. And the run game has to perform because they obviously, like I said earlier, have the worst offensive coordinator in the league. But, yeah, I'm going to take the Saints in this one, though. I got a feeling just because I'm from Louisiana. It's just like that.
I'm going to take the Falcons. Without Ingram, the Saints' offense is strictly Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. So double cover Michael Thomas and try to shut him down as much as you can and let Kamara do his damage. But the Saints' defense has not impressed me at all. Julio and Lattimore, that's going to be a great matchup. But, yeah, either one. I'm curious to see who wins the matchup. But Falcons' run game, I think, is really what's going to tell how the game goes. If they have another game like last week where it's Tevin Coleman, and depending on Devontae Freeman, if he comes back, it could be a run fest for the Falcons. I don't think Matt Ryan would really have to do much to get the job done.
So you're taking Falcons?
Oh, I'm taking Falcons for sure.
I am too.
I think Falcons could win the game, but man, I really want to see Saints turn around, so I got to go with the boys. I'm definitely not placing a bet on that. If anything, I'll take the over. What is it, 50 at least probably? We'll see what it is. It's high, 53, one of the highest of the season so far. Next game, we got Packers and Redskins. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers to do damage versus Washington, and I'm going to give that as the first premium play of the week. Green Bay by 3 versus Washington this week. That boring offense ain't going to be enough in Washington to stop Mr. Rogers. Remember, guys, refer to him as Mr. Rogers.
Well, Mr. Rogers better show up after last week tying the Vikings. Really, they should have lost, but the kickers this year are something else. I think that my boy Devontae Adams is finally going to have his huge blow-up week that everybody was expecting now that Jordy's gone. And look for Jimmy Graham to outplay Jordan Reed by tenfold this week.
Green Bay.
Oh, Green Bay in a blowout. Adrian Peterson's going to be ineffective in the running game. Chris Thompson's going to catch a lot of passes out of the backfield, good for fantasy. But Green Bay, that's Aaron Rodgers, bad man.
Green Bay, yeah. I mean, Aaron Rodgers getting back into his groove. I think they're going to run the ball a little bit more this week, trying to keep Rodgers' knee away from all the contact as much as possible. But, yeah, I think Green Bay by 10 maybe.
Yeah, I'd take that this week. I'd advise that.
I think Rodgers' knee, it's all a ploy for people to say, oh, well, they'll run the ball, and then he'll still throw 30-plus passes a game.
Oh, for sure.
350 plus.
For sure.
So the next game, I'm really looking forward to. I really think this is going to be a shootout as well. Carson Wentz, first game back, really looking forward to it. Last year's MVP, if he wouldn't have got hurt, we could all agree on that, I'm sure. And I think it's going to be a good game. I'm going to take Eagles with him coming back at home. It's 6.5. I don't think I'm going to take the spread. Might take Indianapolis plus the 12.5 in a teaser. Just because I think it's going to be a little more close than people think. But Indianapolis also plays a little different away from home. But I'm going to take Philly regardless. Wentz coming back. It's going to be some action.
I'm taking Philly, no doubt. And anybody that has Ertz, you might want to put him on the fantasy team. Might want to start him this week with Carson Wentz coming back because you know that's his main target. And I think Philadelphia's defense will just shut down T.Y. Hilton, and that's literally all you have to do to beat the Colts. But for sure taking Philly.
All I'm saying is you're not shutting down T.Y. Hilton. Andrew Luck will find a way to get him the ball. He always does. It's proven in the past years. But I'm excited for Wentz. I'm excited for Wentz coming off the major knee injury this fast. He got injured at the end of last year, and he's already back. It only took him an off season. That's it.
I'm going to take the Colts to win. I think the Eagles have too many injuries. And if you look at the history.
They got the main man coming back.
If you look at the history, teams that go deep into the playoffs to the Super Bowl, win or lose, the only team that still stands tall the next year is the New England Patriots. Every year the team that goes to the Super Bowl falls off big time for the next year.
I wouldn't say every situation that's true.
And the injuries, there's just too many injuries. Give me the Colts on the road at Philadelphia.
Plus 6.5?
No, give them to me straight.
All right. Money line on the Colts from Dustin. I don't know about that. That's a bold take. That's probably a plus 250. There's 6.5 on the spread. So that'd be a good payout if y'all want to take it for a little money. We're not giving any sporting and gambling advice, but if you do that kind of stuff, then we advise that as a play this week. So the next couple games we'll just run through really quick. Vikings and Bills. Vikings all the way around the board, I assume. And it's not even close.
Vikings, Buffalo. Tyrod Taylor took you to the playoffs one time. Other than that, y'all have been terrible for the last 20 years since Jim Kelly was still playing. I'm taking Minnesota by 40 and Buffalo after this week. Y'all need to retire y'all's whole franchise.
I'm taking Vikings. I don't even really need to say anything. Vikings will be 2-0-1 after this.
Vikings, no need to explain.
Yes, sir. We all explain Vikings by 17. I'll probably take that. Honestly, that's a big spread, but that's right up my alley to lose a lot of money on that. So we'll jump the gun on the next one. Dolphins Raiders. I think Dolphins keep it going at home, 3-0. Raiders, man, y'all can't figure it out. If I would have started Amari Cooper this week, though, who scored 25-plus fantasy points, instead I started Antonio Gates in my flex, who scored 0. I lost by 2 points, as I stated earlier. So thanks for that, Gates, and thanks, Amari Cooper, for being inconsistent. So I'm going to go Dolphins on that game. What y'all think?
Man, I think Oakland's going to get their first win. You know, they need it for sure. And they just haven't been playing well, but I think everything's finally going to get clicking for old Gruden, even though I'm not a fan. But I believe they'll pull out their first win this week.
I also got the Raiders this week. I think there's too many offensive weapons for the Dolphins. Give me the Raiders and give me the spread. What's the spread for that game?
-3 for Miami.
Okay, I'm taking the Raiders. I think the Raiders are going to win by a touchdown, honestly.
It's a toss-up for me, so I'm going to have to go with the home team. You know, the West Coast, East Coast thing. It's hard to travel. I know you have a week to prepare, but it's a big time jump. So I'm going to have to go with Miami playing at home. I think Tannehill, I'm not big on Tannehill this year, but he hasn't been making the huge mistakes, and I think they just put it together. I like Kenyon Drake and Frank Gore down there. I think they're going to grind it out on Oakland.
All right, that'll bring us to our next game. We'll also go quickly through this one. Broncos-Ravens. I'm going to take Broncos. They're going to keep it rolling for another week at least. They got Baltimore a 5.5 spread. I'll definitely take Broncos in a teaser +11 this week.
I'm taking the Ravens. Broncos do not have a good enough offense to even compete with them, so it's not even a big choice.
I'm also going to take the Broncos. What's the spread?
5.5 Baltimore.
You know what? I'm taking Baltimore. I think they honestly have. If C.J. Mosley plays, I'm taking Baltimore. If he doesn't play, I'm taking Denver. I mean, it comes down to that. He's the heart and soul of the defense. Jimmy Smith.
He's the play caller.
Jimmy Smith's coming back. Just give me Baltimore.
I'm going to go with Baltimore, too. I think they're going to realize that they're going to have to run the ball a lot more to win. Flacco won't get it done. So you got to keep the defense off the field. If you keep the defense fresh, they're going to be beast. Like, we saw C.J. Mosley go down, and the defense fell apart against Cincinnati. Now, I don't know if Cincinnati's offense is just going to be good this year, or if Baltimore's defense just had a bad game. We'll see. Bringing us into the next game with the Bengals and the Panthers. Now, for this game, I'm going to take the Bengals. I know that Carolina's favored to win this game by 3 points, but name one cornerback on the Panthers that's going to stop A.J. Green. Go ahead and double him because you can't, because the way their offensive coordinator moves him around in the slot and just finds ways to get him open. And once you get your playmakers open, it's game over.
I beg to differ. I think Carolina's going to win this game, and I think A.J. Green's going to have a poor game because Giovanni Bernard doesn't fear anybody running the football. They're going to double A.J., unlike all the Ravens did. The Ravens didn't double A.J., and they still took him out of the game. Teams know now that without Joe Mixon in a run game, A.J.'s all that they got. All their touchdowns last week came from A.J. Everything is centered around A.J., so A.J.'s about to get the Julio treatment. He's just not as good as Julio. He can't make stuff happen.
But will the Bengals offense be better without Joe Mixon and not have a run-dependent guy that you have to hand the ball off to? I know he's good out the backfield, but Gio is just a yak machine.
You mean one that averages 5 yards a carry?
All right, I'm going to go with Carolina at home. That's just a given for me. Carolina at home, take them. They did enough on defense to stop Dallas in week 1. Falcons are a really good team. I didn't expect them to win that last week. I took that last week, Atlanta to win that. But I'll take Panthers this week, especially without Mixon playing. Bengals get their first loss of the season.
Taking Panthers simply just because they're from NFC South and got real good competition over there. But I just don't see Cincinnati moving the ball real well without Mixon.
All right, next game we'll go quick as well. 2 more boring teams that are not living up to their potential at all. New York and Houston. Giants versus Texans. This game, I don't know what the deal is, but both teams need to get it together. I'm going to go with Houston in this one. Maybe Deshaun Watson finally gets that spark that he needs versus a weak New York Giants team. That defense may get started for Houston. We'll see, and it's in Houston. Both 0-2 teams. Not much excitement there. Odell's going to go off, of course, for 100+. Hopefully DeAndre. I think DeAndre, he'll do good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Houston. I think we might finally see J.J. Watt come out with the worst offensive line. But, yeah, I'm going to take Houston. I think Deshaun's just going to be too much for him. And DeAndre Hopkins, he's just a beast. Lamar Miller should have a pretty good game as well.
I'm going to have to go with the Texans as well. At home, I think J.J. Watt finally does something. I mean, the addition of Tyrod Matthew, your defense has to click eventually.
I hope like hell you can do something against Eric Flowers. Because he is the worst offensive lineman I've seen since that Chaz Green guy that couldn't block Adrian Claiborne. Oh, yeah, Flowers did go down, but I think he's fine. But I'm taking the Texans as well. Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, that's a bad man. Bad man. Give me them Texans by a touchdown.
I think that's going to bring us into our next game, the Jaguars and the Titans. I mean, Jaguars all the way. Mariota being banged up, his funny bone's a little hurt, and the Jags defense will just win the game for him.
Jaguars by 90 this week. Take that as your premium play. Right now the spread's at 1. I don't know why that is. That must be a default on the site's end, but there's a reason it won't let you place any bet right now on that. But, yeah, I'll take Jaguars by a lot. I mean, you see what they did to Patriots last week. They're going to do way worse to Tennessee with a backup quarterback. So, we all agree on Jacksonville with no further comment, really.
Jacksonville defense.
Jacksonville, any way possible. Special teams, too. It don't matter.
All right, so that'll bring us into the next game. This one's going to be exciting. Another high-scoring game, I think, this week. Chiefs, San Francisco going into Arrowhead. I think Chiefs take care of business. I think that may be another pick to take this week. Chiefs by a touchdown.
The Chiefs will definitely win by a touchdown. Garoppolo versus Patty Mahomes. It's gonna be a shootout. But without Marquise Goodwin, Jimmy G just hasn't had his weapon. That's his favorite guy, and we'll see if he gets to come back this week from the hamstring, or actually the thigh injury. But I still think the Chiefs win by a touchdown.
Chiefs by 2 touchdowns, actually. Man, I'm just not real big on Jimmy G at all. I don't even think he should be called Jimmy G. He hasn't deserved the play. He hasn't deserved a nickname yet. Like, Patty M. We came up with that, by the way. And, man, but I just think the Chiefs going by 2 touchdowns. It's going to be an easy win.
I like the 49ers. I think they put up more points than the Chiefs do this weekend. Supposed to be getting Marquise Goodwin back, hopefully. I'm buying the hype for Patty Mahomes, but I'm not buying the Chiefs hype. I mean, he's going to be good, but, yeah, give me the 49ers. I think Jimmy G finds a way to pull it out. Hell, Jimmy G beat Jacksonville last year in Week 14, beat Jacksonville. I think it was Week 14. But if you could beat Jacksonville's defense, you could put up 80 on the Chiefs. So, that's it.
Our next game being the Chargers and the Rams. I got to take the Rams. They're at home. It's a California game. I mean, so no team really has home field advantage.
It's an L.A. game.
Yeah, it's a L.A. game.
Thank you, St. Louis. Thank you, St. Louis. Leave Damn, microphone just spilled my beer. Wow. Don't put your microphone next to your beer or in the reach of the extension arm. Anyways, Los Angeles, thank you for buying out San Diego and St. Louis. That was a good decision. Give a lot more excitement to the second most populated city in the world. I'm going to go with Rams in this game too. I like them by 7. I really like them in the teaser by 6. I think this is another shootout. We're going to see two good offenses play. Is it 50? What's the over-under? I'm taking over 50. Anything over 50, 52.
Honestly,
48 and a half. 48
honestly,
and a half.
I think it'll be an under. I think two defenses are going to play well, and I think we're really going to see Todd Gurley shine. I ain't saying he hasn't shined, but he hasn't really faced anybody to shine. I think we're really going to see Todd Gurley excel this week, and I got the Rams by a field goal.
I'm also taking the Rams, but I'm taking the Rams by 3 touchdowns. Phillip Rivers, your arm's dead, but Keenan Allen will expose Marcus Peters and Akeem Talib for what they're worth, and that's nothing.
I mean, he's already played them several times, so he should. They all know what they're getting. I think Marcus Peters and Akeem Talib bring an insight to that defense against the Chargers, and I'm going to say that the Rams win handily. I think the Rams offense is, like Dustin said, is playing McVay 20 because he might as well be on the cover of Madden now.
Do y'all think it'll eventually be McVay instead of Madden? No? I think it could be in 20 years.
They might give him a little bit of thing like McMadden
if
or
football
something.
don't turn into robots,
Maybe.
then it may. All right, so our next game after that, we've all agreed on that one, is Chiefs, Rams. That's going to be some good games. Seattle and Dallas going to be a very boring game. Dallas, I think the defense gets the best of Seattle this week, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'll take Dallas. I hated on you week 1. You only scored 8 points. You had a big improvement by scoring 20. Like, that's a lot, but you did enough, and you'll do enough versus Seattle. I don't see Seattle winning this.
Dallas for sure, considering they're missing KJ Wright and Wagner. Are they coming back? I still think Zeke's just going to have a phenomenal game, and he's going to shine. I'm taking Dallas by 2 touchdowns.
Y'all know what Russell Wilson doesn't do in his career? Russell Wilson doesn't lose at home. Give me the Seahawks versus the Cowboys. KJ Wright coming back, Bobby Wagner coming back. Michael Kendricks is going to be playing again. Michael Kendricks is a good player, a really good player. That's big for the Seahawks if he can stay on the field. But with the hurt guys coming back, I mean, I don't think Doug Baldwin's coming back this week, but who knows? He's a grinder. But give me the Seahawks at home. Russell Wilson don't lose at home.
In that game, I'm going to take the Cowboys. The Seahawks offensive line is atrocious, allowing the most sacks in the league so far. And Taco Charlton, DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory, and the blitz schemes that Marinelli's going to come up with are going to be too much for Seattle. I think Russell Wilson's running for his life the whole game.
So we got Dallas, and more Dallas. Next game's going to be another good one. Patriots Lions. Patriots beat them by 40. Ex-coach Patricia versus Patriots. He knows Patriots very well. He was their defensive coordinator.
Did you say it will be a good game?
A good game is in for Tom Brady to beef his stats.
For sure.
400 plus yards from the Golden Boy this week. If Josh Gordon plays, he goes over 100 in his first career game versus Lions. No doubt about it. Patriots all the way.
Especially off an embarrassing loss to Jacksonville, where it looked like Jacksonville basically dominated the whole game. They're going to come out, expose the Lions for what everybody already knows they are. It's just straight garbage. Pats by 4 touchdowns.
Y'all need to put some respect on Darius Big Play Slay's name. Josh Gordon ain't finna ball out on him in his first week. The Patriots are gonna win this game by a couple touchdowns, but it's time for people to look at Darius Big Play Slay. Better than Jalen Ramsey.
He's not better than Ramsey, but the Patriots are gonna win this game, no problem. the Patricia era in Detroit will come to end soon. I don't think the players like him, and they're not winning, so it'll just end.
We could give a quick pick on this game, Bears versus Arizona. I'm going to take Bears to win again by 6. I'll take that game as another pick for myself. Bears by 6. Arizona, what are you going to do when Khalil Mack's coming at you? You haven't done nothing all season at the QB position. So, I'll take Bears in that one. Everybody agree, or does anybody, for whatever reason, take Arizona?
No, it's Bears.
I'm going to go Bears. Their defense is going to dominate. David Johnson will finally go over 100 scrimmage yards, I think, this week. They finally put him in the slot a little bit and get him more active. But Sam Bradford just won't cut it.
Bears by 20.
Give me the Bears, too. And I'm going to say David Johnson doesn't have 100 scrimmage yards.
All right, so last game of the week, we're going to go Monday Night Football. That's going to be Steelers and Buccaneers. I think that's going to be a good shootout, another shootout. Fitzpatrick's going to do it again. I have a feeling. He's not going to beat Pittsburgh, but he's going to do it again. I said he wasn't going to beat Philly this week. No. So I'm going to go Pittsburgh in this one, even though it's in Tampa Bay. And I'll take I ain't going to take a bet on it. But over 53, a lot of points, I'll still take it.
I honestly think Tampa Bay wins this game because of, number one, Antonio Brown's not at practice right now. He did show up today, but just Big Ben's going to try to make him happy. You know, he's doing the Dez Bryant. He's doing the crying. He's crying for the ball, and I think he's just going to try to force it to him a couple too many times, and it's not going to end up working out. It's going to be at the end of the game, it's going to be a crucial third down situation, and Big Ben's going to try to force it to Brown, and it's going to end up incomplete, and they're going to end up losing.
The football gods are crying over your head right now because they cannot believe that you just compared Dez Bryant to Antonio Brown. And
The whining over the ball, that's what I'm comparing.
Because you can't use Dez and Antonio in the same sentence.
Whenever you don't show up to practice because you didn't get the ball enough and you still
when you
had
speak,
almost 8 catches.
When you speak on Antonio Brown, you speak Calvin Johnson and Randy Moss and Jerry Rice. That's who you speak.
And Odell Beckham.
Not Odell Beckham.
Yes, sir. Odell Beckham for.
Is he
for
found the end zone yet this year? No, I didn't
he'll
think
find
he
it
did.
3 times this week against Houston. Don't worry.
But anyways, yeah, give me Pittsburgh. I'm not in on the Fitzmagic. He's been trash his whole career. Simple as that. You don't just get good overnight. You don't become a 330 hitter overnight.
I'm just taking Tampa Bay. No reason to explain.
All right, so that's a wrap up of NFL football next week, or this coming week. We'll give a few fantasy plays real quick, some of our top performers for the week. First off, I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers versus Redskins. I think he puts up big numbers at the QB position this week.
Mine is going to be the Vikings versus the Bills. Give me the 17-point spread.
Mine's going to be Julio versus the Saints. I think he's just going to go off as usual.
Mine's going to be the Browns over the Jets by 3. Now that they have a kicker, not going to miss every field goal, extra point. They're going to win by 3 easy.
So my premium play of the week, my one pick's going to be Green Bay -3 versus Redskins. Yep, that's my premium.
My premium play this week is also going to be Minnesota Vikings by 17 against the Buffalo Bills.
Mine's going to be the Browns -10 over the Jets.
-3.
10.
Mine is going to be Jacksonville over the Titans. No matter what they end up making the spread right now at a 1, that's ridiculous. Put some respect on the Jags. Their defense, they're liable to hold Tennessee scores.
Yeah, that spread's definitely not right on Jacksonville. Look for a Jacksonville -10, double-digit win for sure. I like all our premium picks. I don't know about the 17 by Minnesota, but they'll probably win by 40. I'll take them first half by 17 for sure. First half by double digits. That's going to hit. That'll be another premium. Minnesota first half, but we'll wrap it up there for the NFL Week 3. what we think's going to happen or what we know's going to happen because we're so damn good. And we'll go into college real quick, and we'll be brief with it. Last week, there was a few good games. LSU versus Auburn was an exceptionally well game. Can y'all think of any more games that stood out to you last week?
Another game that stood out to me was San Diego State versus Arizona State. San Diego State looked good. Don't bet against them.
Yeah, don't bet against them. I thought Herm was going to get that win, and I actually did bet against them. So that was bad on my part. We also mentioned earlier a little bit about Alabama. Tua, he looked great once again. Not a surprise. Can't count the days between now and then versus LSU. I just can't even sleep thinking about how great of a game that's going to be. Yeah, for both teams, whatever. One team's going to prevail. Another good game was BYU upsetting Wisconsin. Was anybody in Wisconsin? I was very surprised by that. That was a good one. Nobody was expecting that, of course, or at least I wasn't.
The TCU Ohio State game, that went pretty well, man. I was taking Ohio State all the way for sure, and their defense really stepped up, and I can't wait to see what they are this year with Urban Meyer coming back. I honestly think that's the only team in Alabama's ballpark.
I think Ohio State did very well this week, and they are a college football playoff team for sure. Haskins is a great QB.
I think Ohio State has produced another top-notch coach. I think that the guy that is filled in for Urban Meyer has done an exceptional job, and I think he'll be coaching a Power 5 football team next year.
And their quarterback needs to be in the Heisman conversation.
Haskins is good, but, man, they win by so many points. He doesn't play the whole game. In these Big Ten games, he will. So I'm really looking forward to it. Ohio State going forward, they're definitely a top 4 team. I don't see him really losing to anybody in the Big Ten at this point. Wisconsin doesn't stand a chance from the other side of the Big Ten, and nobody in their conference really, I don't think, can win it. They're going to destroy Michigan and Michigan State. They're going to take out Penn State. But that division, yeah, it's weak. It's all about the SEC this year. So that was all our really good games. We'll move into week 4. We only also have a handful of good games this week. We got Georgia going into Missouri. That's going to be a decent game. I think they'll give Georgia really their first true test. So we'll see what happens. I think Missouri's got to keep it a lot closer than South Carolina did versus Georgia.
I'm honestly ready to watch the A&M Alabama game. You know, Alabama putting up a lot of points, more than what anybody could have thought, and Texas A&M coming up. Texas A&M's legit. We saw them play against Clemson, but this might show just how good Clemson is, or in my opinion, just how bad Clemson is. Oh, yeah, by the way, Clemson's not a top 4 team this year.
Yeah, but they're the best team in the ACC, or is Virginia Tech? We will find out.
My big game I'm looking forward to seeing this weekend is also Missouri and Georgia, because I'm really, really high on Drew Lock, the quarterback for Missouri. I've been seeing reports he's going to go number 1 overall in the NFL draft.
I seen him last year throw for 500 yards multiple times. He is a 5+ touchdown kind of guy.
Oh yeah, he is no doubt Texas Longhorns, UT, their daddy.
Yeah, well, UT this week's going to be a good matchup playing TCU.
Give me TCU by the
in
spread.
Texas. But did you see Texas this past weekend versus USC?
I saw an
destroyed USC. Destroyed him 37-14 actually. So that was a good pick there. I think Texas and TCU's got to be a much better game than we expect. Spread's 3 on that on TCU, but I'm not going to put it past Texas to get a win, man. They already lost 1 this year. They're not going to lose many. They'll definitely lose to Oklahoma in the Red River, but I don't see them losing this week to TCU, really. We'll see how that game goes. I think TCU's a little overhyped.
Man, honestly, they might upset Oklahoma in the Red River. I mean, looking at it, Oklahoma's offense, they look exceptional, but they actually played a half-decent team this year and beat them by 10. Their defense isn't good enough to hold anybody, and I think going into a good game plan with them, you have a good shot.
All right, that's a good pick there. And going into a big Pac-12 matchup, we got Stanford and Oregon lining up. That's going to be a great game. I like the new coach in Oregon and the new scheme they have there, putting up big numbers. Stanford, I like the man Bryce Love, but, dude, Oregon at home, they're 20 seed. Stanford's top 10, they're at 7. I think Stanford goes down and puts LSU one step closer. I'll take Oregon in this game by the 1.5. They're underdog. I'll take the Oregon money line on it at home in Eugene. Go Ducks.
I'm also going to take Oregon simply because they might have the best quarterback in the nation.
He is very good. You talking about A-Bear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man,
I'm also going to, while we're sitting here, no, I'll hold on. I'll hold on to it. It's my upset of the week. I don't want to be a spoiler.
All right, we got one more good Pac-12 game, and that really wraps up the college football matchups. Iowa and Wisconsin's going to be a good Big Ten matchup. Going into Iowa, Wisconsin coming off a loss, they may be a little down from the loss, or they may shake back. I think Iowa may upset there. But the Pac-12 matchup I'm looking forward to is going to be Washington and Arizona State. I think Washington takes them out, no doubt, but that's going to be a good game. It'll be on ESPN, so it's going to be publicized. I think Browning shows up. That's going to be a good one.
I'm for sure taking Washington.
Yeah. Washington by 17, that might be a good pick, especially with Arizona State going down this week to San Diego State. But we had a good week there. Good week last week in college football. LSU plays Tech again. That's going to be another good matchup.
Quick note for the bettors out there, take the over in the Texas Tech Oklahoma State game over 77.5. Take that. And my upset this week is West Virginia. I got them going down to Kansas State. Kansas State's coach, he's 100 years old. He's seen it all. And I just don't think Will Greer's got enough for him. Also, another good bet this week, Ohio State by 37.5. Their backup quarterback has never lost a football game in his life.
That is going to be a good bet on Ohio State. I was thinking the same thing. They play Tulane. Tulane, that's another team here out of New Orleans, Louisiana. I just don't think they stand a chance versus that offense. It's going to be a good one, though. But that'll wrap it up there for the college football Week 3 preview or Week 4 preview. And we'll leave it there. Gave y'all a couple picks for college, couple picks for NFL. We went over last week's games. And we'll all give one fantasy sleeper for the week. Who you got, Dustin?
My fantasy sleeper for the week is Corey Clement, running back from Philadelphia. Darren Sproles is expected to be out 5 to 6 weeks with an injury. Jay Ajayi is also not expected to play this weekend. That leaves Wendell Smallwood and Corey Clement, and we know who's better out of them two.
My sleeper for the week's going to be... I'll take Carson Wentz coming off the injury. I think he's going to blow up. They're going to put up over 30 points. He's not really much of a sleeper, but I think he comes back strong, does what he does. Multiple touchdowns. That's my sleeper, Carson Wentz.
I got another one. He's not exactly a sleeper, but I'm going to take Gio Bernard. I think he fills in for Mixon very well. He catches a lot of passes. He's a yak machine, so I think he's going to do his thing this week.
I'm taking the tight end from San Francisco, no doubt. He's just looking real well, and I think he's going to perform real well this week. I wouldn't sleep on him.
All right, guys, we'll wrap it up there. So we gave y'all a lot today. Stay tuned for the next episode. This will be live Thursday before the game starts. We're all taking Browns tomorrow if y'all want to join in and take them. I think Darnold goes down again, but we'll leave it at that. And shout out to our sponsor, Legend Gear and Apparel. Check them out at legendgear.co. The site's officially launched, so go check them out. A lot of quality business accessories and apparel products. Got watches, sunglasses, ties. We got a lot of stuff over there, so go check them out and use discount code LAUNCH10 for 10% off your order. And we'll leave it at that, guys. We'll see y'all next week, and good luck on your picks. Good luck in fantasy.